Good morning. This is Bobby Dupre with the Bobby Dupre Show, presented to you each Thursday morning at 7 a.m. My sidekick here, Andrew.
Good morning.
And it's almost good afternoon. We are late. Everything looks like it's a little bit slower, like we're moving back into the old South.
But I'm gonna crank you up.
You're gonna crank
pump
me up.
you up. That's right. What was our friend with the pump, the gas pump?
Oh yeah, not the gas, the water pump.
Water pump. Man, it'll come to
Zig
me in a second.
Ziglar.
Zig Ziglar. We got it.
Zig Ziglar. That's correct. Anyhow, we kind of cutting up, but that's what the show is all about. We want you to sit back, relax like we do here. We have a lot of paperwork in front of us. Most of the time, we don't get to very much of it, but we never want to be where we're looking for something to say.
Absolutely.
We always fold up the tent at the end of our program, which takes us about an hour and a half to do with our 4 breaks, 3 breaks that we take as we kind of regroup.
No more than 4 hours for 1 hour show. No more than 4 hours.
What did Edwin Edwards say about one of his candidates?
That he said Dave Treen takes, 2 hours to watch 60 Minutes is what he had said.
And that's still popular out there in the political scene. Right. But anyhow, ours is, well, I hope y'all don't grade us like Dave Tree. But anyhow, we have a new studio, new equipment today, so
we're learning.
We're going to all learn. And of course, our technician is back. Good morning, Steve.
Who caught every fish they have in Branson, Missouri. I understand that they're having a fish drought there now because Steve was catching them all. And his wife, let's not forget the wife. I think the wife's decided that Steve needs a boat. She's the ultimate woman now. I mean, as good of a woman she was,
He's
can cook well,
head.
she dances, she exercises, and now she wants a fishing boat. What more can a man want?
That's right. That's kind of like that ad. The guy says, this lady had an ad in the paper, one of these TV computer programs that you find yourself a wife, and she had all these things about herself and all that. He says, "That's good." He said, "Would you send me a picture of the boat?"
That's right. I want to see the boat.
He's not worried about the lady. Show me the boat. But anyhow.
How about some sponsors? You want to do that?
Yeah, always. We get serious.
Into it.
Anyhow, don't forget on Sundays, it replays. You can tell your friends if they missed the 7 a.m. on Thursday morning to pick it up on Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m.
And don't forget about kdcg.com. You can watch it at your leisure on YouTube, on any device you got, from an Apple iPad, an iPhone, to a Android device, to whatever can connect to the internet and watch. You can get there and watch it anytime you want. We've got weeks and weeks worth of shows up there that you can watch, and they're broke down by quarter. So if you want to tell your friend, watch the second quarter, watch the third quarter, it's all out there, easy to get to. So, Piggly Wiggly, go to thepig.com is their website.
I went there yesterday. In fact, one of the pictures of
to the store,
Miss
to the
Pete,
website, yeah?
To the store.
To the store.
To the store.
And you had Miss Pete, and
Miss
I can
Petrie,
probably get there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain I got it.
She stopped me. She says,
bingo, right here.
"Boy, you knew my father-in-law real well." I said, "Well, don't hold me up." Shirley Ann and her 2 grandchildren there. Right. We walking out at the Piggly Wiggly store in Opelousas, South Opelousas, Louisiana. The South store, they have 2 stores in Opelousas, Piggly Wiggly. On the
and
north
one in
end,
Simpsport as well. And the one on the south end also has the deli, and they do catering and all that out of that location as well. Beautiful
Saw Joey, told him hello, let him know I was shopping with him.
He and the missus, we went to Ball Mosque. You're talking about high-end dresses and tuxedos. They did all the catering for that event as well.
Oh, I thought he had a tuxedo on.
No, he had the white chef's thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
anyhow, getting back to Miss Pete,
she's
married to August Pete, and then her son in the 8th or 9th, must be the 9th grade, her grandson, he's August the 3rd, I think it is. And she, of course, she and I were talking about Early Pete. That would have been her father-in-law. And she knew how close we were. And he used to love when he'd come in and pay his premiums on his insurance. He'd love to ask the ladies up front, Miss Darbone and them, is that bad little boy Bobby around? And I'd say, I'm here. And I said, I'm still that bad little boy. Boy, we'd get a charge, and we'd reminisce. And Mama told me, she said, you know, I feel bad. She says, he never felt bad, but I feel bad as I got older and realized that when he was working for Daddy and I, your dad, you know, my daddy, in the fields, they'd come in at night and he'd sleep in a potato field. He would rock me, he'd bathe me and rock me and put me to bed, and then Mama was working up a little supper, and they'd eat supper and he'd go to bed, and worked for them for several years, and then got on his own and did well. I'm talking about the Okra Man on the old airport highway. Had a huge sign he'd put up when the okra season was there, and he would sell, I don't know how many bushels of okra, but it was a lot.
That was a main drag in Opelousas. You didn't go all the way to I-49 in those days. You had to come up the airport road.
You had to get to Ville Platte.
Absolutely.
And back. Anyhow.
All right, so
reminiscing.
The pig, sirloin pork chops, $1.68 a pound. They got 88 cents a pound for the whole fryers. They've got bottom round steaks, $3.48 a pound. Go about a pig. The pig knows best. And to see weekly specials, go to thepig.com. That's GOTO, thepig.com. And one more, let's go with Carl's Thrifty Way. And if you got to get your medicines and your prescriptions all taken care of, go by Carl's. They'll take care of doing the prescriptions for you. Do multiple prescriptions together and they'll compound it, make it easier for you to take into one pill, one liquid, one bottle, make it much, much easier for you. I know I've had them do things before where I was going to take a medicine. I had two different kinds of medicine. The bottles were similar. And they got on that thing with a market lot and a special label so I could make sure I didn't confuse the two. You know, they'll take the time to help you, work with you, get you to understand what's going on, make sure that you're comfortable with taking those medicines. Because, you know, it's kind of scary sometimes. You don't always, that doctor talks to you, he talks fast. You get to the pharmacy, take your time and find out what you're taking. Don't forget about them for gift ideas and home decorating ideas as well.
You know, on Tuesday nights, whenever possible, and I just about make it every Tuesday night, attend the little services that's held on the backside at Evangeline Downs racetrack. They have a chaplain there. It happens to be Dwight Brown, who is also on the Opelousas City Police Department. And James Sam, you remember James Sam, the good jockey?
Absolutely.
Well, he got banged up and all that. He doesn't ride anymore. His body is okay, he said, but his neck is been injured to the extent that the doctor says one more, and
it's not
I'm
good,
gonna
so
probably
stay out of it.
You're going to stay out of it. He stays out of it. And we got to talking, and I asked him about his kids and all of that. He's been married, and he said his daughter is a pharmacist, and one of her specialties, she went for additional training, is compounding. And compounding some of these medications that are given to people when they have cancer treatments.
Yeah, because some of that stuff you have to know the person's exact weight, what they need, and the proportions. So it makes it a lot easier.
Glad to hear
and there's
that.
nausea with the kind of treatment, so you want to make it as easy to take as possible.
James is real proud of his young daughter, and he should be, you know.
I want to give a thank you out to Dr. Greg Dupre, my old high school quarterback who I snapped the ball to a few times back when I played football.
He moved out of the office in
out of Opelousas, but he still comes to Opelousas and does a lot of surgeries. He just did your little godchild Austin's tonsils.
Okay.
She's 18 or turning 18. And he did a tonsillectomy, I guess is what you call that. And now they do it with a laser. So it's a quicker, easier procedure. I mean, it's still not fun, still not comfortable. But I want to thank Greg. And while I was there, he was doing one of his great nieces, her surgery. So Greg's parents were there. I got to visit with them. I got to visit with a whole big bunch of people from all that end, the Palmetto, the Beau area, some of that group as well. The Bergerons, I think, from out there as well. So I want to tell them all good morning.
We're going to talk about a Bergeron girl in a little while when we show pictures.
Well, I'm ready. I got everything you need, whatever you want to show.
Well, let's go. While we're talking about Bergerons, let's talk about Little Daisies. Some maybe, well, it was at Thanksgiving time. I went into Little Daisies, and Little Daisies is a children's basically girls. She might have gotten in some boys. Goodies. There's a shot of the picture right inside the store. It's located on the corner of Main and Highway 190, which is Landry Street, downtown Opelousas.
Correct.
It's across from the old St. Landry Bank. What's the hamburger stand on the Checkers? Checkers hamburger stand is across.
And the St. Landry Bank's the other corner.
On the other corner.
Two St. Landry Banks.
And Little Daisies. And the young lady that operates this business is Chancey Bergeron from the Leonville area, maybe Orneville area, but I think it's more Leonville.
This is her right here in the photo, I think.
On the left and the young girl on the right is a school student, high school student, and I think she's a Sonia.
Yeah, Steve is struggling.
Nope, wait a while, we're struggling.
We're having a problem. What's my deal, Steve? All right, we'll come back to the photos. Let's just go ahead. You go ahead and talk while I work on it, because I don't know what happened, but something.
Anyhow, I picked up a little dress for Jenna, who is Vicky's granddaughter.
Right.
And a beautiful little dress. And let me tell you, she's going to be 3 on her next birthday, I think it is. I think it's 3, or maybe she's 3 now. But when she took the dress out of the package, she put it up to her. Look, put it up, and she checked her feet to see the length, if it would fit.
Well,
that impressed me. Little girls, they love to be little girls, and they love that cute little clothes, or they don't want it at all. It's one or the other.
You got it.
It's one or the other. But you got the pictures, or you still can't?
Oh, yeah, we got them. Look at them go.
Okay.
Oh, we got it. There's our lady,
Steve.
Miss Bergeron there.
And I think the young lady is Miss Sonia, and she's still in school, if I'm not mistaken. She's a senior in school.
Nah, pictures are working just fine.
Nah,
that's all inside to show you how nice the place is.
is.
Oh, yeah.
And what impressed me was the fact that I asked her how business was. She said, Bobby, I've been blessed. It's very good. Isn't that, doesn't that?
Monday through Fridays till 5, I think 1 o'clock on Saturdays. So
right.
You can go by, and it's mostly girls, but there's boys clothes too.
Now, another added feature since the last time I was there, she does embroidery work, and that is very popular. She's doing real well with that little machine and her skills of operating that little machine.
How about this photo?
This photo here was over at Sonia's. I'm doing some more promotion for Sonia's Donuts store. And that on the left is Carl Fontenot, my distant cousin, the roofer, and on the right is Charles Michael. Charles Michael was a grandson of the Phillips, Mr. and Mrs. Phillips, that owned the Phillips Insurance Agency. And one day he decided that he was going to sell his insurance agency, and we bought it. Phillips Insurance brought it into Dupre Carrier, and he went into the roofing business. He moved up to, I guess everybody at that time was moving to Georgia. Everybody was going around Atlanta. Big construction was blowing up. And he's still roofing, and now he's working alongside Carl, my cousin. Carl Fontenot, better known as Soul.
That's right.
That's how you know him.
That's how I know him.
Now you know who I'm talking about.
I know this guy.
There you go.
We're going to take a 1-minute break, folks. We're going to see you on the other side of 1.
Welcome back to the second quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show. We do it in 4 quarters, and like a football game. And we throwing it back and forth today like a football, and we kind of missing the pass and the catch. But
we'll make it.
Just hold tight. Last week I made a mistake, and we caught it. Nobody else told us about it, but there's a picture that I showed, and I called this gentleman with the pretty white hat right here.
Come on, Steve. Oh!
Got the wrong picture.
Really? I screwed it up again, huh? Because we going to keep doing it this way, and as long as we keep modifying, I ain't going to get it right. Okay, how about this one? Is that better? Now we got it.
Now we got it. We showed this as Jim Darby, and I guess a friend of his. Well, that's not correct. I realized right after the program last week, this is Mr. Laurie Sashry, the dean of the deans in Church Point, Louisiana, a longtime friend of mine. And the lady that's kind of, I guess, driving him around, taking care of his, you know, household needs and things like that. I don't know the exact details, but they're good friends on top of all of that.
Right.
She is Mr. Robert Nellum's. I'm always going twice a year. I'm invited.
Beautiful
to big
place with the little
suppers
lighthouse.
With the lighthouse. Well, that's Robert Nellum's wife in the picture here, Miss
excellent.
Dot.
There you go.
And I apologize for the error last week. Most of the time we don't catch it, but
But if you
this
order,
one we caught.
but if you order a pizza from Pizza Hut and the man comes in and got pops on his tag, that's Jim Darby. You give him an extra big tip. You tell him Andrew Guitro said he needed to be tipped.
That's right.
He's hustling, still working.
So Mr. Laurie, of course, had a concrete service and other businesses, very successful. And his son is the person that I ordered my 57 Chevrolet, went and got all the details on his
Really?
Ross, Foster Ross, his stepson, and he raised him.
Right.
And that was in Church Point, Louisiana in 1957. I went in and bought that solid black.
With a gray interior.
Oh yeah, the gray and black interior. Got a story on that too. When I write my book, that's a paragraph. That's a whole section on.
I'm not going to say I can recite the story.
Yeah,
I'm
you've
just
heard
going
it
to
enough.
say I've been with the man enough that
And I always say the same way.
I got
Same
the
thing.
road map. I got the road map, and I met Foster with you, I guess, years ago.
Yeah, then his
And,
wife worked.
Peggy.
Peggy worked for the company, or is working.
Still working with the
for
company, absolutely. So
Dupre
we
carrier,
talk with
got y'all?
Foster, and we talk about those cars. Every time he'd see you, talk
Yep,
about the car.
The 57 Chevy. And I remember Mr. Blackie Dolman was the salesman that was waiting on me at Bordelon Chevrolet, downtown Opelousas. Bo's Garage and Grill now.
Now, that Doman is the Doman that became the dealership later? or
No, that's different.
All right.
Mr. Blackie Dolman didn't want to take my order, really, because he wanted to sell me a red and black interior, and I said, no,
He
sir.
thought it was hotter looking.
And he says, no, that's what everybody's buying. I said, well, I saw the one I want. And I said, you know, I'm Mr. Cornelius's son. He said, yeah, y'all pretty much want it y'all's way. I said, well, I guess you could say that. You know, I've waited, I was almost 21, I guess, when I bought that car. I was in college. And so when I got through with signing the papers and all of that, he says, well, is Mr. Cornelius going to come in and pay for this?
Right.
Then he became very nice about Mr. Cornelius. And I said, no. I said, I'm paying for this. Well, he said, you in college, eh? I said, well, I saved the money. It's at the homestead. But that was the longest walk. When I got married, my first marriage to Adelaide, we got married in the big St. Landry Catholic. That's a long walk from the back of the church to the altar.
Right.
Well, let me tell you, around where St. Landry Homestead was, across the
From
street,
Bordelon Chevrolet.
yeah, was around the corner.
Right.
Oh, Lord, that was a long walk.
You had to think about that money
But
that
once
you
I
had
wrote
worked
that
hard
check,
for.
it was all done, and I love my little car, and got some more story about that. But we need to move on.
Well, I don't understand, though. The Doman fella back then, he thought that Bobby Dupre wanted it his own way. I don't understand. That must have been when you were young, because certainly at this point in your life, you're just easy going, everything's
easy going.
simple.
Everything's simple. Or I think it is. Now, maybe y'all don't think it is.
That's all right.
Y'all
I can tease him a
y'all
little
never
bit.
tell me no, so it must be everything I suggest must be okay.
I think it's fine.
Okay, good.
As long as I don't complain.
Let's move on before we
All
get
right,
in
let's
trouble
go. Let's
here.
go. We're going to show the house. I see all
Yeah,
the
well,
flowers in bloom.
that's not the ones though.
Well, I'm going to show it. I'm going to get there. Hang on with me. Look right there. That's those red, large flowers. That would be an amaryllis, is what that would be in the lily family.
And Vicky planted
and
all that.
I see some
don't
beautiful
know that.
roses.
I love pretty.
Vicky's got very good taste. You're lucky to keep her around because she keeps your flowers looking nice. I'm going to give you a close-up right here.
Now, what's the purple?
Oh,
That's
well, there.
beautiful.
That would be a bearded iris, is what that
Now,
would
come
be.
in from the back side. I think there's two pictures there.
Well,
Just one?
That's all
Did
I got.
take one out?
That's
Okay,
the only one
I
got.
kept the pretty one then.
That's
Okay,
it. That's
all right.
You got it. And I can see you got some more buds coming with amaryllis, so you'll have amaryllis probably for the next couple of weeks. The roses, I see a lot of buds, so you'll be in good shape. I'll better go over there and steal a couple of flowers to bring home.
Oh, yeah, do that, do
That's
that,
what I'll
do
do.
that.
All right, so where are we going next? Let's go with some more photos or
Yep,
not? Yeah, why
let's
don't we
go
do
with
that?
some more
How about
photos.
this? We're over at Pico de Gallo at our sponsor.
Okay, let's get it
man.
real quick,
While we
and-
at it, let's go to the Quarters Casino north
Right.
of Opelousas.
Then we'll come back and talk about the picture.
Absolutely. Pico de Gallo is the great Mexican restaurant and cantina. As you can see in the photo, they got some good, what do we call that? It's a piquant sauce. What do they like to call that? Salsa. I'll get it with some piquant in the picante type sauce.
And
Anyway.
their chips are a little thicker than what you get in most other places.
So you can dip it and it's crunchy. And I like
It's
the
crunchy,
salt mine.
crunchy.
Dr. Bazile fusses me, but I still like the salt mine a little bit. I like that salty flavor. But you can go there. If
Morning,
you like,
Doc.
if you like a real good salty flavor, they got good salty margaritas there as well. Great Mexican cuisine.
But you wouldn't know that because you don't drink
I'll
it.
stay away from that now.
But we're told that.
That's correct. We've heard that over the years. We may have partaken from a lot of that over the years. But anyway, while you're there, you can go to the Chevron next door. You can get all your fuel, Stucky's candy. You got Subway sandwiches. You can go try the gaming out. They got those nice machines that pay out like crazy.
Up to $1,000.
Up to $1,000. So go out there and give your luck a chance there at the Quarters Casino and Travel Plaza. And that's our two friends there, Doug Sandoz and Philip Andrepont, who's still
Andrepont Printing Company.
Andrepont Printing and working hard still every day. When I swing by there, that man is working. And of course,
He
the
said
next
you're supposed to have something for me too.
Yes, he and I are working on a book.
No, you're supposed to. He gave you a book or something
He
to
did
give
for you to
me.
read, but I'm doing my homework before I give it to
Okay,
you.
all right, okay. I'm backing
I gotta
off.
make sure I got
We're
it
not gonna
first.
fight. And also enjoying their
Yes.
time at Pico de Gallo is Miss Kathy and Mr. Dago, Mr. Lionel Leger, better
Correct.
known as Dago.
That's correct.
And out of that little conversation, he's going to get a little work. He's going to put some limestone down at the Catholic Church in Washington, Louisiana. He measured it out and he'd do it any day now.
At Immaculate Conception.
So, Father Jared,
wrong church,
I
I'll
didn't
get there.
forget what you asked me to do. It's coming. Took a little longer than I had hoped.
And I clicked the wrong button. How about this church? That's where we
That's
are.
the
That's
church.
Immaculate Conception, Father Jared Swear over at Immaculate Conception in Washington. And I see you looking right there. And
That's my vehicle,
you,
and
that
I'm
you're
looking-
surveying. I guess you must have went out there and
That's-
measured, I'm sure.
That's and that
brand new
pickup truck.
surveying equipment.
That truck is Lionel.
Tell you what, you're one of the most
Dago.
impressive general contractors I know. So
We've done a lot of it.
How about this, gentlemen? Speaking of Washington,
Washington, yep, we can bring in one of our
Absolutely, another sponsor.
sponsors. On the left is Larry Hugay and his dad, Mr. Wilbur. That's Miss Norma's husband, Miss Norma's son. Larry is the father of Jason.
so Norma Hugay with Century 21.
That's her nephew. No, that's her grandson. Jason is her grandson.
Jason is her grandson. Really? I had no idea.
How about
well,
that?
man, I'm learning
Something-
everything.
I taught you something. How
Well,
about that?
you see,
Whoa,
you
I
see,
better
Jason-
let me mark that down.
Jason kind of fell out the scoff me. We're talking about Jason Hugay, the owner and chef at Steamboat. And of course, I met Jason through Frankie. Frankie just kind of took Jason under his wing and brought him all the way up through his line cook and taught him things. And then sent Jason off to college, to culinary school.
Yep, went down
and
at Thibodeau.
got his education. Helped put the project together for Jason to own the Steamboat Warehouse. If you go by Steamboat Warehouse, let me tell you, the food, unreal. If you go on a Friday night, you can sit with my Uncle Fuzzy Stanford there. He's the doorman. He makes sure that the door on the bar end is always, flowing real well, especially if the good-looking ladies are coming in to have a drink. He makes sure that they're seated. Everything is fine. But go by the Steamboat. Great seafood, great steaks, great atmosphere, the drinks, the wine selection. Sit out on the wharf. Beautiful place to go. And that's
Okay.
Jason's grandfather and father. Is who this would
That's
be?
correct. That
Well,
is
there
right.
you go, Steamboat Warehouse. So we took care of our sponsor at the same time. I'll show another picture. This is with the boxing
That was
reunion meeting.
Tuesday. Went to Riley Fontenot called me, and I called him. We returned calls, and we ended up having lunch halfway between Lafayette and Opelousas. Beauchamp Truck Stop is
Right.
a good place to meet.
Absolutely.
And he brought Bobby Le Bourgeois and Nutsi Quirk. Nutsi Quirk is up front.
Look at that ugly hat. I mean, look at his hat.
No, I don't like that hat, but he loves it.
He took it off.
He took
Thank
it off,
goodness. That's
but- and then his eyes. He didn't box. Something happened. I think he slipped and fell in the house or something. But anyhow, kind of bruised up. And the big tall gentleman all the way on the left in this particular picture, he is from Mere, Louisiana, and he is a mesh. And he said, you probably know my mama's sister. I said, well, who's your mama's sister? Josie Prudhomme. I said, oh,
Really?
yeah. I said, what about Desiree? He said, that's my first cousin. I said, well, she worked with us, and she kept us entertained.
She was, I guess she had taken dancing because she would dance.
Oh, Lordy.
Unreal. She
unreal.
danced in theater and everything. Was just beautiful girl. Great personality.
And then the guy in the front with the striped, the blue and green shirt up front, he lives, we were talking about boxers, and Shelton LeBlanc's name came up, and I said, you know, Shelton is giving back to what he got. He has a boxing club, bought a little school bus lately. We showed the school bus on the program about a month ago.
To help the kids.
And he says, well, I see them working. I live near where Shelton lives. And he says, I see them running up and down the road doing their running, their training.
Right.
So then the young man to his right in the solid blue shirt, I guess the shortest one of the group, shorter than me. Yeah, I'm a little bit taller than him. I'm in the back. You can barely see me in the back of the two guys on the left.
Sure.
Anyhow, he boxed, and then he knew Shelton, and he knew all the guys. Chad Broussard coached him when he had some amateurs. Now, of course, primarily Chad has professionals and promoter. He also is a good promoter today.
Sure.
And he says he tried MMA.
Really?
And that's a tough sport. You have to be in such a good shape. But anyhow, I didn't get their names. I apologize, fellas, but I think they all understand. One of the guys is taking the picture right now.
MMA is fun, but you know me, I like the sweet science. I like the old traditional boxing. Did you watch B-Hop this weekend, the alien, Bernard Hopkins?
I sure did.
What, 48 years old, and he consolidated the titles? They gave him a split decision, which was a robbery. It was a robbery because he beat that man. There shouldn't have been no split.
There was some of the announcers, and they're some of the best judges that they have, the announcers. They gave him every round. And
I didn't see a round he lost. and somebody gave a split decision on it.
A split decision.
It made no sense. And that man, let me tell you, Bernard Hopkins, when he talks, he does not sound like he is a nuclear physicist or a literature teacher. But when he talks about boxing, he's a tactician. I mean, he knows why the punch is stronger this way, how to roll the shoulder, how to stand, where to put. He understands boxing maybe better than any other boxer out there. And it shows him. He's almost 50 years old.
Now, don't forget, we having in June, we having our second
Hall of Fame
and event and reunion, and that's again going to be in the Sunset Event Center. Robert Deranger, and of course owned by the Jerry DeValco family.
Not DeValco.
Not
DiMaggio.
DiMaggio.
We got it.
DiMaggio's Depot, Lumberyard.
That's correct.
Yeah, we're going to give him a plug for that mistake.
Now, we're going to see you folks on the other side of 1 minute.
Welcome back to the third quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show. And of course, my sidekick here, Andrew. We got to make sure you get paid that 000, 000 now. We're in the third quarter.
That's right, third quarter. I'm ready, baby. I'm going to get my money.
Real quick, let's get our sponsor in.
Oh, I can handle that. How about some sponsors? LHC Group, all your home health care needs. LHC Group, it's all about helping people, everything from the therapists in your house to the nurses in your house, the special beds, the special lift chairs, the oxygen equipment, all that type of gear you need. Extended care, maybe you're in a hospital and you're ready to go home, but it's like, I'm not quite good enough. Maybe you don't have good help at home. Maybe the kids don't live around here, so your rehab's gonna take a little while. They've got extended care in your local hospitals, like Opus's General Health System, where you can stay in the hospital. Don't run that big bill that the main hospital costs you. Run that smaller bill while you're going through the rehab, and you're right there on the premises to get all that good medical health care. Don't forget about them for palliative care, hospice care, and the Health and Wellness Center with nice brand new tennis courts right there on Heather Drive. And let's go with, how about Dixie Storage? All your storage needs. Now look, if you're working on a big project, I got friends of mine working on big, huge projects, and they need steel from Baton Rouge to New Orleans to Lake Charles. You know what they're doing?
Alexandria.
They're sending the steel to Port Barre to Dixie Storage because it's one of the very few public railroad spurs. They're sending huge railroad cars full.
That has the equipment to unload or load.
Put it back in the 18-wheeler to finish delivering it. I mean, they'll run it on the railroad car through Lake Charles to come to Port Barre to make it easy to unload onto the 18-wheeler to bring it back to Lake Charles. That's just the way the thing works, because they can do it cost effectively. They can store it for you till you're ready to use it. They can do inventory control. If you're a guy that's buying and selling stuff, they do inventory control for you at their locations.
Joey Doucette, the son-in-law of Mr. Randolph, I tell you what, he's brought that business to another level.
Very sharp guy, and he's a guy that keeps his ear to the ground, so he understands when new businesses are expanding in the area. He understands, look, I have some products that may help you, some services that may help you. And so he does that. Great guy. A-Plus Glass, don't forget about their sister company, locations in Lafayette and in Opelousas. They do any kind of glass, from auto glass, home glass, commercial glass. They do car inspections as well. I had a passenger window, the hand crank broke. You know, the glass was fine, but the hand crank broke. And rather than bring it to the dealership, I brought it over to A-Plus Glass here in town, and they changed the whole handle and everything for me, nice and neat, nice and easy.
How about that?
Go by Dixie Storage.
On the death side, we didn't cover any obituaries last week. I apologize, particular to the Ted Griffin Sr. family. I saw Mr. Ted. I grew up during his time, I guess you could say, because he died at the age of 86. And I've told this story on the program here once or twice over the years. Maybe it was on the radio section when I was on radio. But he used to bring his little family over on Saturday afternoons. There was no McDonald's or anything like that. They would come over, and they didn't live that far. They would walk on a good, like cool weather we're having right now. They would walk, the little family would walk to get a hamburger with mom and daddy at the little cafe. And of course, he became very successful educator, participated in the education of kids in St. Landry Parish throughout his whole life. And of course, he leaves behind his wife of 63 years, Miss Beverly Monclaw Griffin, and her sister is married to Morton Roy Sr. Or junior. No, junior. I think he's junior. Senior was his father
Marty
who
would
died.
be the third.
Yeah, the third, right. So anyhow, a well-known person. And another person who died that I should have covered last week is Miss Victoria Tesano Ware. And I mentioned a while ago, she raised a granddaughter, Angela Brown, Dwight Brown's wife.
Oh, really?
And of course, Angela comes to the little services, the chapel on Tuesday afternoon. She was there last night, and they all worked to serve. And look at how beautiful her grandmother was.
Gorgeous, huh?
Gorgeous lady.
Why don't we show the track here, Steve? If you want to pop this up, we can show it real quick. While you're on the topic, we can show these. And then come back. You've got the sunset over the track, and then there's the...
That's Dwight and his wife right there, Angela, right there. They were leaving last night. And then there's a lady in the back, and I was blocking her. That's her vehicle. And I was in the back of her, so she was waiting. I don't know her name. She's a very nice lady. Her husband is an assistant trainer. And she, since they've reopened the track 2 weeks ago, she has been attending the services, and a very nice lady. I've got to get her name.
Back to the obituaries here. Our friend Miss Mary Leday's anniversary.
It was an anniversary 1 year ago, and of course, her husband is Joe Leday, and her son, of course, is Reverend Greg Leday.
Absolutely.
Mary was, she was the firecracker in that family. She was my political friend. We generally were on the same team there. Mr. C.J. Andrews died from Grand Coteau. He was 87. That's about that age. John died. He was 87. The Second World War veterans.
That generation.
That generation.
The greatest generation,
and of course, can't say that I knew him personally, but his son, Abby Andrus, was our mechanic when S&S Suzuki, Ramp Spire and I owned S&S Suzuki, and of course a fire got that while I was in New Orleans. I didn't get to see the fire, but I saw what was left, and it was in bad shape. But anyhow, our deepest sympathies to Abby. And of course, Abby runs a successful little mechanic. He does specialty work right across from what's the name of the church in Grand Coteau? The big...
Charles Borromeo.
Borromeo. I can't ever get that.
And he's got
St. Charles,
he's got a Grand National Oldsmobile Cutlass with nitrogen in the trunk that he works on.
It's not a Dodge.
It's not a Dodge. It's a
I've
Cutlass that he's got.
Showed
it's a
it to
Grand
me
National.
during retreat. I don't talk. I just listen when I go talk. When I go visit
but
Abby.
that car coming out of the factory was a very must be like a 440 or 444. It's a huge engine in that car.
You remember for our reunion and our Hall of Fame awards, one of the people who received it was Mr. Leroy O'Brien.
Correct.
And a large contingent of his family attended.
Daughter came in from the northeast, so we sent some stuff. I think I sent some discs up there.
Yeah,
and everything.
we sent. She
DVDs.
bought and bought tickets and I'm not sure. You know, when you played a role I played that day, I didn't see a lot of the people that were there.
Hard to shake all those hands.
And I think one of the members of the family came up and got his. He was very ill, I know, at that time. Anyhow, he passed away, and his funeral, he passed away peacefully on Easter Sunday, and he was buried yesterday, Tuesday. Actually, the services were held in the Long Funeral Home on Bertrand, because that's where he was living, but he's from New Iberia, and he was part of that team, and I think it says here he was a 3-time high school champion.
Very good.
Leroy O'Brien.
Now, Steve, we're in the third quarter still, right? I got to think for a second because I got so many things going on here. How about this?
We got two golf tournaments coming up on the 24th.
We do. That's correct.
Is the Earl Taylor fundraiser for charity and his political campaign fund. He splits the money raised in half. And that is on the 24th. That's tomorrow, Thursday, starting, I guess, the first tee off probably is 8 o'clock.
Right.
And he has a large contingency of people that come and attends and participates in this golf tournament every year. And then on the
May 12th will be the Lighthouse Mission in Opelousas.
No, but then there's one before that. There's the Indian Hills Country Club has one, and theirs is the May the 1st, I think it is. Right. May 1st.
There you go.
Unless I correct it,
it's
May 1st, and that's raise money for St. Jude's. That's
excellent.
That's
excellent.
The donation that the Lee and Shirley Young family work real hard to raise money for the St. Jude's Hospital and Research Center.
And May 12th is the Lighthouse Mission. It's going to have their golf tournament there as well. If you want to help them out, you can give them a call. Give Mike Fontenot a call at 351-7851. How about this? We're talking about St. Jude's. Don't forget on May 3rd, Saturday, at the new Silver Slipper. If you've been a beautiful building.
I've got to go.
Call Malcolm Lalonde. He can probably give you a tour. He knows what the original building was like, but he probably can show you around the new one too, I'm
probably
sure.
Could describe it.
But go by and tell Paige Melanson and the whole group hi. They're having a huge brisket cook-off. Should be a great, great time, great event. Call Janet, 879-7050. The food is going to be excellent. And go take a look at that building. You know, they've got a full-blown restaurant there now.
And the Washington State Bank, which is one of the oldest continuous operating banks in the state of Louisiana.
Correct.
18-something, very old. And they, of course, don't operate as being old. They operate as being on the cutting edge of technology. And they are opening and having their ribbon cutting River Ranch office. How about that? River Ranch, that's where that big, big money is. And Miss Sue and the staff is going over there. And already they're operating and making loans, making a lot of loans, I understand, already.
Big inroads there.
She's very excited about the opportunity. She's happy. They're going to be, that's going to be May 1st, and that's at 10 a.m., and that's at 1042 Camellia Boulevard, Suite Lafayette. Didn't build the brick and stone. They going in there.
Into one of the suites in one of the existing buildings.
That's correct, and they've remodeled it for their particular need, and it's going to be a loan origination office primarily is how they're getting started.
To help,
good way to get started.
Help grab those commercial customers on it, and personal customers too.
Let me tell you, with all the lending companies that operate in Acadiana, the Evangeline Downs Hotel Group, of which I'm a minor part, Joe Fred and I, Little Joe, and a group of us, J.E., bought a little interest to give Mr. Jim Bervin and Mr. Bill some encouragement. And we tried to get the loan reworked.
Refinanced.
The interest rates have gone down, but we couldn't get the people that had the loan to go and be competitive, so went out shopping. And I mean, shopped it hard. You hear me? You know who ended up with that loan?
Washington
State Bank. Miss Sue and her staff ended up taking care of that.
So
don't think because they're old and they're small that they can't help you, because they're good at partnering up with the big boys who turn the loan down, and they'll take a percentage after Miss Sue gets on.
The thing I learned is that the old ones got deep pockets, so that's who you want to deal with, right? Banks with deep pockets, and all my old friends with deep pockets. They do
How about renovations? Oh, you want to get to the
How about that's this weekend. Go by, it's Saturday, April 26th. That's in Orneville. Go see Miss Kathy Reshore. They have the Mayor's Cook-Off. $30 entrance fee. It's very, very inexpensive. I think all the money goes to St. Francis Regis Church. That's our good friend, Father Keenan Brown, who's the pastor over there. But go by. Let me tell you, it's going to be a fun time. You might see me there with an apron on. That's the rumor.
Oh, yeah,
watch out.
Well,
watch out.
I know why you're going over there, but that's all right. Make sure you work, and not just that mouth.
Work your plan.
Not just that mouth.
Work your plan.
We're going to talk about renovations of the governor's mansion on Liberty Street. No, it's 35 seconds.
Okay, all right.
We don't have
not
enough
time for you.
The Robin Hood Foundation. I don't know how many of you all might have caught 60 Minutes Sunday night.
Right.
Tudor Jones. He has he's a billion and a half billionaire, $1.5 billionaire. And he has spent over $1 billion trying to help the hardcore, the areas,
inner city
education in New York City. And he has spent over $1 billion. He finally hit the touch. You got to take them when they start kindergarten till they graduate from high school. He started the first project. He started it at 8th grade, and that was too late. They had missed all the foundation. You've got to get the foundation. See you on the other side of 1 minute. Welcome back to the fourth quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show, and we really kind of turn it up and get going. We have two more sponsors that make all of this foolishness and hopefully fun and some new information maybe you haven't heard about possible, and we thank our sponsors. Thank you very much.
Let's start with Targale if you want some seasoning, if you want butcher supplies, cutlery, kitchen supplies, if you're a restaurant, a grocery store, a caterer, if you're an outdoor kitchen kind of guy, if you're just a lady trying to cook and learn how to bake cakes and all, they got classes over there, they got all kind of stuff you need, sausage stuffers, you name it, it's all there. Go by Targale.com, go by their store over on Wartell Street, I guess is what it is, or Wartell Avenue, I guess.
Yeah.
Avenue, it's an avenue.
And the corner with Vine Street, West Vine.
Absolutely, the soon-to-be improved Vine, we hope.
Yeah,
they're working on it.
They're working on it.
So anyway,
and it's better now. They've done some
kinda
temporary Band-Aid work on it, and it's pretty good. Thank y'all.
Go by Target. They'll help you out to do custom seasoning blends, or they've got their own recipes. If maybe you want to just kind of repackage something in your own packaging, they'll help put that together, bring your own artwork. They'll help you with artwork too. And one more sponsor. How about JB Sandals? We're talking about these little fly-by-night companies. You know, this is a little hardware store that just opened 135 years ago. They know what a shovel's about. They know what home improvement is about. If you go in there, let me tell you, that's where I go when I work on any of my toilets. I got everything from the brand new toilet in the house. I got one that's far from brand new. And if I need the parts, I can go to JB Sandals, get all that there. But right now it's springtime. What I'm doing is I'm in that yard. I'm cleaning the fence line. I'm cleaning up the yard. I get the edges. I get the hoe. I get the shovel. I get all the stuff to clean up my yard, the gloves. I get that nice, big straw hat, keep that sun off your head when you're down there pulling the weeds out the flower bed. Get all that there as well. At JB Sandals, and don't forget about for cookery. Is that it? Cookery? Type stuff, plates and forks and pots and cast iron pots and Magdalites and
they have it out there.
Paint.
Beautiful.
If you want to repaint your house, it's springtime to repaint. Pressure washers, lawn mowers, Old Smoky barbecue pits. JB Sandals.
You bet. We, of course, soon going to be seeing some of the improvements that are going to be made throughout St. Landry Parish. The voters voted for the Smooth Ride Home program that was offered by the parish president and the council members of St. Landry Parish. And there'll be 472 roads and streets that are going to be improved.
I see you counted them yourself.
Well, I counted them, and I multiplied and all of that. I wanted to hopefully get it right.
Using that SLI education.
The parish president said the plan is to bid out the work in a series of 6 to 8 $10 million packages as the design work is completed. He wanted to thank the voters and the council members, the bill and the council members, wanted to thank the voters. So the first package is actually going to be roads in all 13 of the districts of the outlying parish, not inside the cities.
But remember this, okay? The first 13 roads they're going to work on, they're going to try to make it the worst roads. But remember too, while the equipment is there, they may work on a road that's in better shape right next door because they don't want to have to load all the equipment and move it around the parish like popcorn.
Well, that's how the future roads are going. The packages are going to be let out in groups so that the heavy equipment can just work in an area without that expensive moving, and the moving time is very, very costly.
So don't get uptight if they're working on a better road while they're working on a bad road. That's all about cost effectiveness, so they don't have to move all the equipment and move the guys around.
So I'm excited. I mean, this is the list of the roads. It's not how they're going to be done. This is just the list of the roads, the 472
and
roads.
you and I are hearing more and more things about economic expansion. We're hearing about potential companies coming in. You and I are running a lot of different circles, and we're hearing some positives.
Well, yeah,
a lot of positives.
I read in the paper where there's they do manufacturing of what they call that, fiberglass manufacturing in the it's in Grand Coteau.
Correct.
There's about 30 people working there,
Absolutely.
and it happened without me even perceiving that all this was taking place, like my man would say.
And when all this is happening right now, just because you hear of one company that thinks about coming and doesn't come, don't let that discourage you, because there are a lot of potential companies looking at the parish. If we get 20% of those companies or 30% of those companies, it's still a big positive. So we're going to have good growth. And how about the memorial that's coming up?
Memorial nears completion. Pat Mason and all the others. I'm not going to take the time to name all of them, but and then you told me that I was in the article.
Well, yes. And they talked about the new oak trees that they bought, but you didn't buy an oak tree.
One of
you bought a
those
special
is a
tree.
Savannah holly tree donated by local businessman Bobby Dupre in honor of Sergeant First Class Corey Remsburg. President Barack Obama honored Remsburg's courage and sacrifice during the State of the Union.
He was very badly injured in war.
Badly injured. And his father and mother were with him, and they sat with, what's the president's wife's name?
Michelle.
Michelle. Sat with Michelle, if my memory serves me right. And as soon as the State of the Union was over, I called Pat Mason Gilroy, and I said, I want something in our project there honoring that particular man in honor of all of the veterans. It's not it's just, I took him because I saw what he went through and what he's going through every day just to live. It's anyhow, so I bought that little tree, and Mr. Bob
But
Bob's tree service,
Right.
Bob Thibodeau,
Right.
out of Church Point, came
Is gonna
and
put it.
personally planted that tree. It's planted. I got to go take a picture of it and show it to you all.
And-
I haven't seen it.
And we think that the ribbon will be cut before Memorial Day. That's the goal. If they get everything done, we'll see everything before Memorial Day. Now, let's go to some photos, because otherwise we ain't going to finish.
Okay.
We got
Downtown Cottonport, Louisiana. You can see when you clean up a bayou, this bayou here was messed up like a lot of them in St. Landry and everywhere else in the United States, I guess you could
sport
say.
from Cottonport, as
And
they say.
I don't have any pictures of people fishing, but they're actually fishing on the side of that. And this is Saturday, not Sunday, Saturday afternoon. I think it was Saturday. Penny and her daughter, Penny is a close friend, personal friend of Vicky.
Right here.
And Penny's got the sunglasses on, and her little daughter is on the right side, and the grandbaby, of course, Penny's grandbaby, is the baby on the lap of Vicky. And thank y'all for coming. It was a beautiful little visit, and I don't know, it lit us all up. And this is Easter Sunday. That's Miss Jenna. You hear me talking and seeing pictures. She's a hot shot already. That's Jace. That's Vicky's son, the father of the
Jenna.
baby. And that's Miss Marilyn. That's Vicky's mama. And I should have taken Vicky's mama, Vicky, Jace,
baby.
and Jenna. I had an opportunity. They were all in the room at one time, and I didn't take it. I apologize.
Look at all the food. How many we had? 75 people, 80 people?
Yeah, they eat good.
Look
Jace
at
came
the
back
food.
and got him a
Holy
plate that
smokes,
night,
man.
as well as Clint.
Oh, look what they're doing. They're pocking eggs.
And
All
that, I got to
right.
make a picture of that for
yeah.
Jenna to have for the rest of her life.
That's
Pocking eggs.
good old time. And here you are. You're in Bayou Rouge.
I went to a memorial service at the Bailey House in Bunkie, Louisiana.
Which is the funeral home there.
No.
Oh, the hotel.
No. It's a living it's senior living.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's
I
not a
got you.
nursing home. It's senior assisted living.
I have the assisted living.
Beautiful place. Just I mean, the service, you can tell, is white tablecloth for the Easter Sunday dinner and glasses, and just everything is beautiful over there. And that was T. Brud Baudelaire, his death. He was 76. And that's
Right
a
here.
picture of him where he retired.
Working for Brown and Root.
Brown and Root. He was a supervisor for them. Then when he retired, he opened a little bar that was very popular. And I got up and I talked. I didn't know these people, but I spoke. I said, I stopped there. It's right near where Vicky lives. And I said, the first time I went over there, I didn't know who I was going to be heading up, so I stopped and got me a couple of beers to kind of build up my courage a little bit. And we became friends. And I went to the memorial service, and I brought Miss Marilyn with me. And they spoke about the Bayou Rouge Baptist Church. Well, Sunday afternoon on the way home, I told Vicky, I'm going to take a look and locate that. Well, I had no idea that I would be finding a place that's on the National Historic List. And it was founded in 1841, built in
Current building 1859.
And it's the grounds are just, the building looks good.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let me tell you, these oak trees and the
Well taken care
azaleas,
of.
and it must be 6 to 8 acres of land there.
Inside the church there.
I took that through a window. Look how good it came out. Boy, these little cameras, I'm telling you, you don't like them, but I like them. I'm gonna tell them how you
like it
feel
is.
about it.
That's
Tell them
right.
like it is.
That's right.
Anyhow, that was on the way to that. This is Greg
Cogis.
Cogis, the Cogis Sign Company founders. Well, their father, Greg and Van, owned the company. To my knowledge, they were the two owners. Maybe there was
So you and I dealt with all those years.
That's correct.
You
And
told me, you said, there's a little sign company in Bunkie, go see him. And I got there, I said, you ain't going to believe this.
it's a big one.
operation.
And good
Beautiful
people.
home.
And look at his home he built. And then when he sold the sign company, he's an energetic, at least he's got to work 16 hours a day, or he wouldn't be happy.
He's
7
got
days
a nice
a week.
sign. I wonder how.
Yeah, Gibco Nursery. And
Gibco Nursery.
Just
Look at the
little
big,
pot
beautiful
shots. This was Sunday. They were closed. I couldn't get any pictures, but just get an
at the
idea.
palms.
They're doing work throughout the state of Louisiana. Their trucks are painted the same color like their trucks were painted.
Kind of that, I want to say Ronald McDonald colors, orange and yellow and reddish.
And
kinda.
then another business that did another firm that did a lot of business in St. Landry Parish, building schools MD Descant, and they're celebrating. The next sign will show 50 years of business. Congratulations to you all.
There's
That's the
Gibco.
backside of Gibco.
There's the Bailey Hotel.
Bailey Hotel. I made an offer of $40,000 before it got remodeled.
Right.
Then after I made that offer, I gave them 5 days, and I prayed.
That they wouldn't take it.
They wouldn't take it. I realized how
still be
massive
painting.
we'd still be painting in that. But Tommy McCann,
the piano refurbisher, an antique guy.
he remodeled it
Did a
and
beautiful
operated
job.
it for 10, 15 years. This is SGA, which is Barry Mitchell and myself. We started this.
Southern General,
we
that
bought
insurance
that from
wholesale.
Thomas Wright. And doing well in that building right here.
That's the old Dupre carrier.
Dupre carrier. Gotcho had an office there. We had bought Anthony Orman, Jude Orman's daddy.
Correct.
This picture here is Mr. Bob Wright,
Right.
who owned an insurance company and that general agency.
This is the Bailey House.
This is
here.
the Bailey
Right,
House
right.
here. Beautiful facility. It doesn't do it right. The sun was so bright.
And how about one more picture here?
This picture here was, there was about 3 trucks used to park at this same location
Right.
when they started raising
Sugar
sugarcane.
cane, right.
Now they're, I guess, out of sugarcane season. They do some construction work.
And we got it. That's everything. Got all the photos in before the war. Let me tell you, that's why they pay me the big bucks.
I'm going to talk about Geraldin's Fused Glass Studio in downtown Sunset, Louisiana.
20
Look this
seconds.
beautiful. Please enjoy your Serenity glass. Use it to remind yourself to be grateful for all that you have. Also, use it as a reminder that you have the power within to calm yourself whenever needed. Take a time out. Take a deep breath. Go for a walk. And remember that if you should cross paths with someone who needs this more than you, pass it on to them. You can put your knees all you want. I'm not going to stop. That is when this glass will serve its most valuable purpose. Geraldine Guidry Laverne, Cecil Laverne's wife. I'm going to go and take pictures and come back next week with a story on this. But I had to do this as my closing prayer.
Please attend the church of your
Choice this weekend.